So let me put a disclaimer before I even get into today's topic for the day. You do not need all the pig feed ingredients in formulating your feed. You do not have to have soya beans in there, PKC, fish meal, corn, maize bran, wheat bran, lysine. You do not need all the ingredients in your feed. So a while back I made a video on how to mix feed for your pigs, and then I used just 4 ingredients, and then there were a lot of comments. Why didn't you add premix? Why didn't you add PKC? Why didn't you add lysine? Why didn't you add a lot of things? And by the end of this video, you are going to understand why you do not need all these ingredients in your feed. So now, moving on to the main subject for the day, we are going to look at the nutritional requirements of pigs, and then from there we are going to take all the feed ingredients one by one. We take soya beans, maize bran, maize, PKC, all the feed ingredients one by one, and look at their nutritional content. So what is the carbohydrate content in them, the protein content, minerals and vitamins, what other nutritional value do these ingredients have? And then this is going to help us to make an informed decision on the ingredients that we are going to use in mixing our own feed. So let's get right into it. Just like humans require certain nutrients to be able to develop properly, pigs also have their nutritional requirements, which include water, carbohydrates, proteins, and amino acids. They also require minerals and then vitamins, both fat-soluble vitamins and then water-soluble vitamins. So we know that pigs need a lot of water, and this water helps them to digest the feed that you are giving them. It helps to transport the nutrients that are in the feed and also transport waste out of the body. So you know that pigs also really like to be cool. So the water helps them to cool down and then maintain a normal body temperature. Now let's look at the carbohydrates. So with the carbohydrates, I like to say carbohydrates and then fiber, because when it comes to pig feed, most of the carbohydrate feeds are also high in fiber. So carbohydrates is important in pigs as it is the main source of energy for them. That helps them to be able to move, to be able to perform other functions that they need to perform. Then let's move to the next thing, which is proteins and amino acids. So we know that proteins are very important. When it comes to pig feed, I am more concerned about the protein content, because protein is the main thing that is going to help them build their body. So you need them to gain a certain weight. You need to make sure that they always have the required proteins that they need. So now let's move on to the minerals, which are also equally important. So the macro minerals like sodium, calcium, potassium, and magnesium are very important. Likewise, the micronutrients like iron, zinc, copper, and manganese are also very, very important. And then for the vitamins, we have the fat-soluble vitamins and then the water-soluble vitamins. The fat-soluble vitamins, which are the vitamins A, D, E, and K, and then the water-soluble vitamins, which are biotin, riboflavin, thiamine, vitamin B12, vitamin B6, and vitamin C, and others. They are all important in the pig's diet. So now all these nutritional requirements that I've mentioned, which are the water, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, minerals, and then the vitamins, are derived from the ingredients that we use in making the pig feed. The only thing is that some of these nutrients are available in relatively lower quantities in the ingredients that we use in making the feed, especially the minerals and then the vitamins. And that is why we usually supplement them with the premix, because the premix is basically containing minerals and then vitamins. So other feed additives that can boost the feed include antibiotics, microbial supplements, that is the probiotics and then the prebiotics that people add to the feed, and then also enzymes. All these can help to boost the nutritional level or the nutritional content of the feed. So now that we've established the nutritional requirements of pigs, we are going to take our ingredients one by one. So the first ingredient on our list is going to be cassava meal. Now, how do we gain cassava meal? Cassava meal is obtained by drying fresh cassava and then grinding it into a powdered form. Cassava meal is a source of carbohydrate, meaning it's a great source of energy because we know we get energy from carbohydrates. However, cassava meal has very low protein. And comparing it to maize, it has a relatively low digestible crude protein of 2.5% compared to maize, which has a crude protein of 8.23%. However, cost-wise, cassava is relatively cheaper compared to maize in most places. So the next ingredient is soybean meal. And yes, there's a difference between soybean meal and soya beans. This is the difference. Soybean meal is produced as a byproduct from the extraction of oil from soybeans. And then the soya bean itself is just the raw soya beans. And you cannot use it raw like that in making feed. So people usually opt for the soybean meal because that one is it's more advisable to use that. So the reason why you cannot use soya bean raw unless it is heated is because soya bean contains certain anti-growth factors that are only destroyed with heat. So if you do not heat it and then you use it like that, those anti-growth factors are going to be present and are going to inhibit growth in your pigs, and we do not want that. So the only way you can use soybeans itself to mix feed is by frying it. So you fry it for a while before you can use it in making your feed. So let's look at soybean meal. Soybean meal is very high in protein and low in carbs. So its digestible crude protein is 45%, which is very, very high. Soybean meal contains lysine, which is very important in pig feed, about 6% lysine. It also contains some minerals and vitamins like iron, calcium, zinc, and vitamin D. This shows that soybean meal is very rich in most of the nutrients that we already mentioned. High in protein, it has lysine, it has minerals, it has vitamins, and it has some fat. So soybean meal is very, 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 very good. So the next ingredient is palm kernel cake, which is PKC. Now, PKC is obtained as a byproduct from the extraction of oil from palm kernels. PKC is very high in fiber, and we know the importance of fiber. Fiber aids in digestion and then reducing the chances of constipation. It also improves the gut health of pigs. The crude protein content of PKC is between 14 to 18%, averaging about 16%, which is not so high as compared to soya beans, but is also greater than that of cassava meal, which we just mentioned. So PKC, if you're adding it to the diet, it is mainly for its fiber content, which is very good for pigs. The next ingredient is maize. Now, maize is just obtained when you grow maize in its raw form. So the grains, the maize grains are what I'm talking about. So some refer to it as corn. Now, maize is a great source of carbohydrates, which when oxidized release a lot of energy for the pigs. Now, talking about the crude protein content of maize, it is relatively low, about 8.23%. Maize is also low in minerals and vitamins. Maize is also low in lysine and other amino acids. So it means that ultimately, if you are including maize in your pig's diet, it is for its carbohydrates content or its energy content. And next ingredient is fish meal, which is obtained by drying and grinding either whole fish or fish waste, where the fish waste refers to parts of the fish that are not consumed, like maybe the head, skin, any part of the fish that is left over. You can grind that and then you have your fish meal. Now, fish meal is a great source of protein and amino acids, just like soya beans. It has a digestible crude protein content of 55%, which is greater than that of soya beans. Fish meal is also rich in both fat-soluble vitamins and water-soluble vitamins like riboflavin, niacin, vitamin B12, vitamin A, D, E, and K. And you know vitamin K is very essential in helping with blood clotting. Assuming your pig is hurt, this vitamin K is what's going to help. And this is in fish meal, so you know how important it is. Fish meal also contains minerals like calcium, phosphorus, and iodine. In all, fish meal will help your pigs to grow well. It also helps with disease resistance, and it can even improve fertility in your pigs. However, the cost of fish meal is relatively high compared to other feed ingredients in most places. So looking at fish meal and then soya beans, they can both be substituted for each other. So depending on where you are, if the cost of soya beans is lower compared to fish meal, then you can use soya beans and then supplement your feed with some premix which contains minerals and vitamins. But if fish meal is also, the cost of fish meal is not so high and you can afford it at where you are, it already contains the minerals that you need, so just you can substitute them for each other. So our next ingredient is the spent grain, or what others call malt, which is mainly obtained from factories, so the waste products from factories, and then it is usually obtained in the form of dried grains, so bits of grains that have been dried. So the crude protein of spent grain is not really specific because the protein content depends on the kind of ingredients that the factory is using. So it can range between 20 to 34% crude protein. And then this crude protein, like I said, is dependent on what material or what ingredients the factory you are getting your ingredients from is processing. Yes, this spent grain is also a good source of fiber. We already know the importance of fiber. Helps in digestion. It also helps the gut of the pig to be able to perform better. So if you want to use this spent grain, means you have to supplement with other carbohydrate sources because it has very good proteins, but its carbohydrate is not so much established. So you have to add your premix and other things to it because its content is mostly fiber and then some proteins and some carbohydrates. Yes. So the next ingredients we are going to look at are the brands, the three brands that we have: the wheat bran, the maize bran, and then rice bran. These three ingredients are very good sources of dietary fiber, which we know fiber helps in digestion. It helps the gut of the pig to produce helpful microbes that aid the pigs, and it also prevents or reduces the chances of diarrhea in pigs. Now let's look at the crude protein content in these three brands. Wheat bran has the highest protein content among the three types of brands. Its crude protein content is about 11%. The crude protein content of maize bran and then rice bran are almost at the same level, which is about 7%. So that's for the three types of brands. So wheat bran, rice bran, and then maize bran are mainly added to the feed just for their fiber content. So it means you cannot just use them to feed your pigs. You need your carbs, you need protein sources, you need your premixes in addition to these ingredients if you are to make your feed. So now that we've seen the ingredients that are high in carbs, the ingredients that are high in proteins, the ingredients that are high in fiber, the ingredients that are high in minerals and then vitamins, now we know that you do not need all these ingredients to be in your feed. So pigs need a certain amount of crude protein at the different stages in their life. So say at the crib feed stage, the stage where they are still feeding on milk and you want to help them graduate to the weaner stage, they need a crude protein content of 22%. At the weaner or starter stage, they need a crude protein of 18%. At the grower stage, they need a crude protein of about 17%. And at the finisher stage, they need a crude protein of about 16%. And then at all these stages too, they need certain energy levels that will help them to function properly. They also need minerals and vitamins throughout all the stages of their lives. Now, when it comes to me, what I like to focus on very well is the protein content of the feed, because this protein content is what is going to build them and give them that desired weight that you want. And then you are going to have pigs that are very healthy. and you add your carbohydrate sources for the energy so they have very active pigs. So do you need all these ingredients before you're able to meet this protein content? No. Just one protein source or two protein sources are okay in your feed. Just two carbohydrate sources, one dietary fiber source is okay. So with just 3 ingredients, 4 ingredients, you're good to go. Your feed doesn't have to have 7 ingredients to be the best feed. No, you could just mix maize, because maize is a good source of carbohydrates. I could choose between soybeans and fish meal. I could choose fish meal because I think that fish meal has a lower cost at where I am, and then it has additional minerals and vitamins in addition to its protein content. And then maybe I might decide to add some fiber, maybe some wheat bran, so that my pigs, that they are able to digest feed very well. And I might add some amount of premix if I want, just a little, because mind you, my fish meal already has some minerals and vitamins, so I just want to add a little supplemental vitamins and minerals to it, just a little, maybe about 100 grams of the premix to say 50 kilograms of feed. You don't need so much. Do you get it? So in the next video, we are going to mix 100 kilograms of feed using our chosen ingredients. We are going to choose 4 ingredients or 5 ingredients, and we are going to use them to make 100 kilograms of feed. So you are going to know the exact proportions of each ingredient that you need to make up that 100 kilogram feed. So see you in the next video, and it's a bye for now.